Salve, salve, senhoras e senhores, meu jovem e minha jovem, meninos e meninas. Hoje eu quero anunciar um conteúdo que é do balacobaco. Uma daquelas entrevistas que faz a gente parar, respirar fundo e agradecer por acompanhar o Pitadas do Sal. Seguinte, quem acompanha o canal sabe que a gente gosta de mergulhar fundo na música de verdade, daquela que bate no peito, que arrepia, que embala memórias e romances. E dentro desse universo tem um grupo que é simplesmente essencial para entender o som doce, elegante e cheio de sentimento que veio da Filadélfia nos anos 70, The Stylistics. Saca só, a cidade da Filadélfia foi um verdadeiro vulcão de talentos naquele período. Era gente do naipe de OJs, Harold Melvin e The Blue Notes, Delphonics, Billy Paul, Lou Ravens e, claro, os Stylistics. Com aquelas harmonias celestiais, letras melancólicas e arranjos que mais pareciam tapeçarias sonoras. E o que dizer de nomes como Russell Thompson Jr., dono de um dos falsetes mais inesquecíveis da história da música, ou o próprio Airrion Love. E Reb Murrell, que junto com ele deram forma a um dos grupos mais sofisticados e românticos do sul norte-americanos. Hits como You Make Me Feel Brand New, Betcha by Golly Wall, You Are Everything ainda soam como joias lapidadas, com produção de alto nível e emoção transbordando. Pois bem, hoje eu trago um presentaço então para vocês, uma entrevista exclusiva com um dos integrantes dos Stylistics. Sim, você ouviu certo, um dos caras que viveu esse tempo, que respirou o ar do Thom Bell, que viu tudo acontecer de dentro. E quem conduz esse papo é ninguém menos que o meu querido amigo Heitor Pitombo, jornalista dos bons, parceiro aqui do canal, profundo conhecedor da música e figura que entende como poucos desse universo rico e apaixonante. Então senta aí, se ajeita, prepara os ouvidos e o coração, porque esse papo é daqueles que alimentam a alma. A entrevista está imperdível, cheia de histórias saborosas, bastidores de uma era duradoura da música e, claro, com o tempero do Pitadas. Se liga nessa.
Hello, Airrion.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, how are you? To begin it all, let's begin that I'm very proud to be talking to you. I'm a huge fan of the Stylistics.
Well, thank you so
I
much.
am a little child. In fact, I used to sing You Make Me Feel Brand New when I was 8 years old at school. So
Wow, that makes me feel real old now.
Me too.
Wow, that's great.
So let's begin the chat, okay? With
Okay.
that. Well, your collaboration, the Stylistics collaboration with Shania Twain has just reached the streaming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about how did it happen and how did you meet with her?
Okay.
Who came up with the idea of you recording together?
Okay. Well, Tom Critlin, he's the producer of this album. And Tom, we worked with Tom 3 times during the UK tour. And last year, when we worked together, Tom asked us, would we be interested in recording an album? We said, sure, of course. So Tom was presenting songs for us to record. And when he presented the Shania Twain song, I knew right away. After hearing just 8 bars, I knew it was a great song. And I said, yes, 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 let's record it. He took it back to Shania, made arrangements. She did her part. He brought the tracks to Philadelphia, and we did our parts. We never personally met Shania, even though I'm a Shania Twain's fan. I fell in love with her last big hit here in the States. But I knew of her, but never got a chance to meet her. Yeah.
Yeah. And your new album, the Stylistics new album, will feature several rock and roll stars as guests, such as Jenny Simons and Billy Gibbons and Ron Wood, even Ron Wood from the Rolling Stones. And what measure did their styles contribute to the stylistics music, because there's so much rock and roll.
I know. It's funny because Tom Cridland, who's a piano player and vocalist himself, like I said, he opened all of our shows. Well, not all of them. The last 3 tours that we did in the UK, he opened the show. So we became friendly. And when he came to us about recording the album, we wanted to, but we were a little worried because Tom having a rock background, we didn't know whether that would affect the sound of the Stylistics. We didn't want to change what we were noted for. And we told Tom that. We said we're going to be very, crucial in picking these songs because if they come like a rock and roll song, we're not rock and roll artists. So, don't present anything rock and roll. So what he presented and the ones that we picked, we thought they were still in the vein of the Stylistics music. When he recorded them, we didn't know all these rock artists were on it, and until after it was all done. He was saying, well, this is so-and-so playing the guitar, this is so-and-so on drums. And we said, Tom, you should have told us who these famous people were before, but we're pretty pleased with the way everything turned out. But just, it's a little unfortunate that we didn't meet any of the big artists that were performing on it. Now, later, after promoting the album, we see video of them talking about what they did and how much it was an honor to, work on our project. But I think at some time when we go over to England, we'll get a chance to meet some of them.
Okay. No, Aaron, let's return a bit to the roots, How did you and Herbie and Russia form the Stylists? Which groups gave you the inspiration to elaborate on your style, on your very personal style?
Well, Herb, Russell, and myself, we all went to the same junior high school, but Russell and I put together a group and we called it the Monarchs. And Herb was in a group called the Percussions. So when we graduated from high school, members from both groups either went into the military or went to college. So my group had 2 singers and a drummer. And Herb's group had 3 singers, a bass player, and a guitar player. So we had what they needed, they had what we needed, and we combined the 2 groups and came up with a new name, the Stylistics. And we just started working locally in Philly. And a gentleman by the name of Bill Perry came to one of the shows and asked us if we wanted to record. And we said, sure. He took us to the studio. I think the session cost him $500. And we recorded our first record, You're a Big Girl Now, which went national. Bill got in touch with Avco Records. They released it all over the United States. And after the success of that, Avco came to us and said, we need to do an album. And they contacted Thom Bell to produce our first 3 albums.
Yeah. What was the idea behind the name, the Stylistics? Who came up with this idea?
Well, the guitar player from Herb's group, Robert Douglas, we were sitting around my house. We wanted to keep our name, the Monarchs. And we said, okay, we got to come up with a new name. And Doc is his nickname. And he said, what about the Stylistics? And we said, that works. Let's use the Stylistics. And that's when we got the name the Stylistics.
Okay. Your association with Thom Bell was essential for your sound in terms of his producing the songs we wrote, When did he became, and how did he became part of the crew?
Well, when we went and started working with Thom Bell, he already had certain songs he wanted us to sing. And I guess listening to all of our vocals, Tom concentrated on Russell's vocal, and he featured Russell on all of the songs really that Thom Bell did. Russell's song. Then Russell and I shared a song which is the biggest selling song for the Stylistics. You Make Me Feel Brand New, the song that you sung as a boy. So that was the first song I had a chance to sing with Russell on. After that, with other producers, I sung other material, but Thom was the first.
Okay. Was there anything special about the water supply delivered to Philadelphia? Why do you think so many bands appeared there in such a small amount of time?
Everyone asks us the same question. I don't know if there's anything in the water. We were all born and raised in Philadelphia. So if it is, thank the water department in Philadelphia for doing that. But I don't know, coming up as young singers, we were just like any other group, standing on the corners, learning harmony, singing harmony. And that was the structure of us. Like I said, Russell and I met in junior high school, and I remember hearing Russell sing for the first time. I was amazed of his voice and didn't realize that we only lived a block apart from each other. So in the junior high that we went to, we were both involved in the school choir and productions of shows that the school put on. And that's how we finally met. And we became best of friends from that point on.
Okay. Yeah, the Stylics, I mean, were at the top of the charts at a time when romantic songs were deeply connected to Black music, and in the USA especially. Why do you think Black music suffers so much in terms of its approach to the greater audiences? Why there aren't not that there are no more romantic songs, in the chart, but Black music, it's much more connected to a very different kind of music nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I think like any music, it has grown and changed. I mean, the music that I listened to as a child wasn't the same music that my mother and father may have listened to coming up. Their music may have been a little more jazz or blues orientated, but it was Black music done from that perspective. I think slow music, love music is a form of jazz and blues that most Black people were raised on. When it gets off and goes into another sound is when gospel music comes in, and those that had the gospel background in church, their singing and approach is a little bit different to singing love music than those of us who were raised on the ballad singers, like Donna Washington, Nat King Cole, and stuff like that. That's kind of like what I listen to because that's what my parents were listening to. Even till the day, I may write a little bit. I always write a slow love song. I can't I can't come up in my mind with an up-tempo fast song. That's not where my comfort level is. My comfort level is talking about love and expressing how I feel about someone.
Yeah, tell me some stories about the most popular songs that you sang lead vocal on, because most of the songs were sang by Russell in the original versions, but you were lead singer in You Are Beautiful, The Miracle, Jenny, We Can Make It Happen Again. It's very popular in Brazil, I know that. And
Yes,
most
you're
of all,
right.
You Make Me Feel Brand New. Okay, tell me about
Right.
some stories and how did they choose you to be a singer on these songs?
Well, I think when we produced or recorded Jenny and the other songs that I had a lead on, it was after doing You Make Me Feel Brand New. So those producers heard my voice from that song, and that may have given them the idea of me singing leads after Thom Bell. But it's funny that you mentioned the song in Brazil. We cannot go to Brazil without adding that song to the show. And it's one of the most requested songs out of everything that we've done. That's one of the most requested songs in Brazil.
Yeah, it was the soundtrack of a very popular soap opera in the 70s here in Brazil. I remember
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And in 2000, Russell Tompkins Jr., this guy who recorded all those original versions of the Stylistics, left the band and formed his own group, while
Right.
you and Herb Morrell carried on with the actual and the only Stylistics, Is there any chance of you free to perform again sometime?
From our perspective, I don't know. We don't have a problem working with Russell, even though right now we're pretty pleased with our current lead singer, Jason Sharp. Russell is just in a very negative place now. He doesn't communicate with Herb and I. We have had opportunities to do award shows that he refused to be on the same stage with us. So he's dealing with some demons that he has to deal with. I wish him all the best in all of his endeavors, but I don't ever see us getting together and doing anything again.
Okay, but as you said, Jason was a great, great replacement. As I saw in the last show here in Brazil, it was a
Okay.
great. And last question: when will you return to Brazil? Please, you need to do it on a yearly basis, because
I know.
we
You know
we
what?
all need the stylists more often here.
If it was up to me, I would come to Brazil every year. I really enjoy Brazil. I enjoy the culture. I enjoy the people. I enjoy some of the music. It's unfortunate that we don't come to Brazil more, but it's not something that we have any control of. And the reason why we came this last trip, because the producer of the album, Tom Critlin, put together a show for us to do. And he opened the show for us in Brazil. And that's why we came. There's always talk of promoter wanting to bring us, but then for some reason it falls out the last minute. But I love Brazil. I would want to come there every year.
Okay, Russell, thank you very much for the chat. And I see you sometime soon. Okay, I hope so.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Be safe.
Thank you. Bye bye.